Well, hello and welcome to the Light Reading Podcast. I'm Jeff Baumgartner, a senior editor at Light Reading.
I'm Chris Egan, CEO of Evolution Digital.
Well, hey, Chris. Good to see you. We're here at CES in Las Vegas, and actually we have some news from your company, right? We're on the heels of an announcement where you're joining a $10 million Series A1 funding in a company called, is it Ubiety? Ubiety
Yes.
Technologies, right? And so I had a little chance, we talked a little bit about it. We're talking about home monitoring, security, but maybe talk a little bit about what they do and how that fits into the strategic focus of your company, because you work with a lot of operators.
Right. Yeah. So for the last 20 years, Evolution Digital has been really focused on mainly the tier 2 operators in our space, and we've done a lot in bringing them from analog to digital to IP. And a lot of people talk about what's next. And we moved into the broadband world, and we've been selling a lot of gateways and broadband equipment, which was very complementary to what we do in the hardware space. So even then, the next step for us is what's next for these operators. And there's obviously a lot of competition, for them with loss of video subscribers, and even the broadband side is being pressured now too. So Ubiety for us it's an incredible technology that brings home awareness to the operators or the individual subscribers' homes. So by putting a dome around the home and allowing the subscribers to know what's going in on the daily life of their homes, we believe is a way for operators to bring awareness to the customers and allow them to increase their ARPU through their broadband service. So it's a hardware-less, downloadable security that really lights up their home and brings a home awareness aspect to the operator's home.
Right. And in this case, we're not just talking about home security. We're talking about a lot of other aspects, right? Because I think of, home security like ADT or a service like alarm.com. I mean, I guess they can be integrated, but it seems like it's a lot more than that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a social aspect to it, and there's the security element to it. Ubiety's background is really in the security side of things, and our background is more in the operator space. So I think it really kills kind of two birds with one stone by giving you, social awareness of what's going on in your home. And, we believe that you should know what's going on in your home. I mean, it's your private home, and you should have the right to know exactly what's going on. But there's definitely a security element to that too, where you can enhance the service, integrate with a lot more devices, whether it be cameras, panels, and really add a much more security element to it. But the engagement with an application where you can sit there and look and see what's going on with your home every day, people coming in and out, I think is critical and a huge advantage for consumers than what they have today.
And to get this deployed with the operator partners that you have, so we're just talking about a software update to all the devices, whether it's a set top or a streamer or a gateway, or how is this kind of going to be deployed?
Yeah, so initially we're integrating with our broadband gateways and also our set-top boxes. We've got tens of millions of devices out there right now. So the initial step is to integrate the software onto those devices, do some trial homes, do some test areas, see how it scales, and then expanding from there. I mean, it doesn't just have to be our hardware. Obviously, we'd love it to be our hardware.
But it can work with any third party?
It can work with any third-party hardware. It just needs certain memory or certain specifications. It's a very, very light software. But obviously, to make it work, we're doing it on our hardware first. And for us, with what we've done in the video space, with what we're doing in the broadband space, and now this space, we have done a lot of those integrations. We understand those integrations. So, I think it's something that we can get going pretty quickly and test the waters and see what the operators think and see what the reaction is.
Okay. And why invest in this company versus just do a deal to integrate and deploy their technology?
Sure.
And create a service with it?
So as I mentioned, Ubiety came from the security world, and our background is really in the operator space. And we all know the operators. They offer a lot of services to these homes, and we understand kind of what they want and how they operate. So by investing, it gives us a little bit more say and control into what makes sense for the operators. Because what makes sense for the security world may not be exactly the same that makes sense for the operator world. So by us having a little bit of control there and helping develop that roadmap for our partners, so it's something that truly that they feel like they have a say in developing, because it is on the beginning side of developing where the application goes and how it's integrated with their other applications, is going to be critical to them. So the investment for us was important to help have a little more control on that side.
Okay. And you had mentioned, or we all know that cable operators, there's a lot of pressure on broadband these days from a subscriber standpoint. And I think that has led to a discussion related more to things like ARPU and retention, right? And it seems like this sort of offering can hit both of those. But on as far as like the ARPU side, how do you anticipate your partners deploying this and offering this? I imagine they'll have some flexibility, but do you see it as like an additional subscription on top of the broadband service?
Yeah, I think that's all to be determined.
Okay.
I think different operators will want to do it different ways. A lot of it, some people may offer it with a higher end speed tier. As they move to Wi-Fi 7, maybe it's included in a Wi-Fi 7 package. Some people may want to just put it out en masse at a very low cost. You can tier the capabilities and what is from the home awareness side, what's exposed in the home awareness, and then build it up into more of a security element and add tiers onto it. So again, I think it's to be determined. I think there's a lot of ways to do it. The first thing we have to decide is, does it make sense for the operators? Does it work? And then we'll have discussions around how you increase the ARPU. But with the competition out there from ISPs, it gives them a differentiator, and it gives them something to finally talk about that's different than what anybody else has. So there's no question it can add ARPU. How they add that ARPU, I think there's many ways to do that, and we haven't settled in on one just yet.
Okay. And you're just making the announcement this week in tandem with CES. Where are you in terms of the discussions with the operators for either trials and deployments? Are you just starting those conversations? Do you have commitments yet?
No commitments yet. We just started the conversations probably about 6 months ago. There's a lot of pieces to this. They've got a lot of areas within their company, from marketing to CSRs and everything, that would have to learn it, understand it. So right now for us, we're excited about the technology. We're excited about what UBID has. We have talked to a lot of operators. There seems to be a lot of interest in it, and now it's formulating a plan. And like I said, we've had 20 years of history on moving them from analog to digital to IP. So there's a trust between the two of us, and we're going to do it. I'm not going to say we're going to go 1,000 miles an hour. We're going to do it right, make sure the technology works, and make sure that their concerns and again, back to the investment, are met for what they want it to do. And we'll see where it goes. But I would say over this year, it's going to be really determining the right way to market this. And I think we'll start to see some movement with operators by mid to end of year.
Okay. And there's some history between Evolution and Plume when it comes to managed Wi-Fi. Yep. Now, how does this new service you're working on, your partnership, affect that? Do you view it as complementary, competitive?
I view it as unbelievably complementary. Plume's been around for a very long time, and Plume is an amazing service. Operationally for our operators, Plume has been spectacular in the managed Wi-Fi space. And this is much more of a social B2C product, where Plume is a lot more operational. They do have some B2C elements to it, but I think it is extremely operational, because a product like UBID doesn't work without a managed Wi-Fi service like Plume. So unless you get the home stable, you get service throughout the entire home. Something like UBID doesn't work as well as it could. So I think they're incredibly complementary to one another. Not to mention, the relationship we have with TiVo on the video side and the integration we've done with hardware, the relationship we have with Plume, the integration we've done on our broadband hardware. Now the integration with UBID, I think it really gives the operator something to differentiate both on the video, the broad managed Wi-Fi, and now the home awareness piece. All separate lanes, all equally important to the operator and the consumer. and we can come in and bundle that into one price instead of, having multiple companies come in and kind of nitpick OpEx here, OpEx there. We can put together a package for a home and really start to build a true smart home with those three elements as kind of pillars to the foundation for that home.
Right. Yeah. And I think you mentioned differentiation, is going to be a big thing for cable operators moving forward, particularly on the broadband side, because I think with all the competition, I don't think you only want to just compete on price and speeds and feeds and those sorts of things. You want to be able to create a little more value, a little more stickiness into what they're offering. So I guess that'll be a message you're going to have to take
Absolutely.
to the operators and see how they react. Respond.
I mean, if you look at the old days of cable here, there was the HD race and more HD channels. It just continued to drive the price down and down and down. And it's happening now with broadband. Now it's a speed game. I mean, you're talking about 10 gig symmetrical speeds in residential homes. I don't think any of us.
That's not enough for mine. I need more than that. Yeah.
I don't want to ask what you're doing with that 10 gigs, but Bitcoin or whatever. But
yeah.
So if you just make it a speed game, it's going to be the same result as before, and it just drives price down. An ISP comes in, offers faster speed, cable operator has to react with a lower price. To the extent they can differentiate with something where, for us, the engagement with an application that is useful to a consumer is gold for an operator. The advertising opportunity on that, the ability to integrate other pieces into that application and get positive engagement with an application is the foundation to do so many other things in the home. So, I think differentiating this is something where it's going to stop that kind of that speed game and stop the price drop and give an opportunity to increase ARPU. Like I said, whether that's through new tiers of service, through faster tiers, or just through their normal tier and differentiated from what their competition has.
Okay. Well, the last thing I wanted to talk about was maybe more of a big picture story. And I think beyond the work you're starting to push forward with the investment and partnership with Ubiety, what are the big priorities for 2025 for you, your company, and personally?
Well, for the company, we've always been in the video space historically, and there's been so many.
Remember the DTA days?
Back to the DTAs, back to the Bob Gessner Massillon days, and the thing about video, as we all know, is there's always a lot of peaks and valleys. I mean, you have a new technology, you get a huge run up of business, it falls off as the next technology comes, and we've seen that. So we've been working extremely hard, not only to make sure the relationship with our customers is strong, but to fill those gaps during technology shifts. Now, we can sit here and say, is there going to be another video technology after IP? Maybe. But what we've been filling with is the broadband piece. Broadband is something that is going to continue to go. Everybody's going to need more speed. Everybody's going to need more powerful devices. And it's a very simple transition for us, and has been over the last 3 years, because it's very similar to the video piece. It's hardware integrated with software. So we did that with TiVo on the video side. We've done that with Plume on the broadband side. And that really fills a lot of those valleys during video transitions. We also have a focus, and Brent Smith is leading this for us, but we're moving over into Europe. So we've got
the first time in that.
First time in that area. Okay. And again, with our partnerships, we are huge on partnerships. So we're going over there with TiVo. They've got some opportunities over there that we're working with them on. We're going over there with Plume. Because now that it's IP, that's much more worldly than what it used to be when you had conditional access and individual.
Very regionally focused.
Android has really, on the video side, made it much more easy to integrate across borders.
Sure.
So we made some hires over there. We're really developing that market over there right now, starting from zero. So that's a big growth market for us, both on the broadband and on the video side. But here in the U.S., the broadband side for us is increasing at a significant rate, and then adding services like Ubiety onto that, I think, really brings us into much more than just a hardware guy. We're more of an integrated home with hardware, offering more services to to our customers.
And as you're moving into Europe and exploring opportunities there, is the approach going to be the same as what you've been doing in the U.S. and Latin America? Is it going to be a focus on small, mid-tier, 1, 2, or 2, 3, or are you looking for tier 1? I mean, what do you see as the opportunity there?
Yeah, I mean, so Brent's had a lot of experience over in Europe in his past. Europe's a lot more fragmented than the U.S. is. It's really country by country. It's almost state by state here. So, again, we're going to follow a lot of our partners and where the opportunities are. There's been a lot of disruption on hardware over there as well. There's a lot of geopolitical issues that come into play. So we're not going to go out there and do a shotgun approach. I mean, we've got targeted areas with a lot of relationships. And you remember the days we've had a lot of relationships in the past, and we still do, with the likes of Konax, which is now part of Nagra. There was a couple other software companies out there that we've just done a lot of business with over the days, and they've got relationships, and we're going to utilize those and go where it makes sense. But we're not going to put a blanket over the whole continent.
Okay.
We're going to kind of pick and choose, see what makes sense, and if it grows, then we'll grow as needed. But for us, it's start small, start probably in the similar to the U.S. in the small to medium operator size, and really rinse and repeat what we've done here in North America.
Okay, great. Well, we'll look forward to staying in touch as things progress there, and also with the new approach with Ubiety. And I think that's where we're going to leave it. But have a great rest of the CES.
Great. Appreciate it. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks. All right. Take care.